The chamber was a masterpiece of serene menace, a vault of living crystal that pulsed with a soft amber light. It was a portrait of power, and at its center, upon a throne of intertwined organic strands, sat the queen. Her form was elegance incarnate, long limbs of polished chitin, a carapace that shimmered like oil on water, and large, multifaceted eyes that held the depth of cold galaxies. She was the absolute ruler of the Valen hegemony, a species that had woven a tapestry of subjugated worlds across the stars through sheer, unassailable biological superiority. Her personal guard, 4 hulking warriors with crests of sharp bone, stood as still and deadly as statues. Before her, surrounded by a faint, restraining energy field, stood the human. He was clad in a simple gray shipsuit, his posture relaxed in a way that seemed fundamentally insulting in this place of rigid hierarchy. His file had stated he was a xenocultural surveyor, a diplomat of sorts. His hands were empty, his expression one of calm observation. He had been brought before her for the crime of unauthorized traversal of a hegemonic botanical reserve, a place sacred to the Valen reproductive cycle. "You have trespassed," the queen's voice resonated, not in the air, but directly in the mind, a smooth, cold pressure against the consciousness. "You have walked where only the chosen may tread. Your species' disregard for boundaries is noted. The penalty is assimilation. Your biological distinctiveness will serve the hegemony." The human did not flinch. He tilted his head. It was a beautiful place. The phosphorescent lichen patterns were unlike anything in our databases. A truly remarkable symbiotic ecosystem. His tone, conversational and almost admiring, created a ripple of dissonance. He was not pleading. He was not defiant. He was discussing. The queen's antennae twitched minutely. A flicker of her will, and the energy field constricted, forcing him to his knees. A wave of psychic pressure, designed to induce terror and submission, washed over him. He grunted, his brow furrowing, but his eyes remained fixed on hers. "That is uncomfortable. Your empathic projection is remarkably focused. A collective neural link, I assume? The carrier wave must be incredibly complex." The queen went perfectly still. The pressure ceased. Her warriors shifted, a subtle clatter of chitin. No captured species had ever analyzed the attack. They only ever screamed. "You resist," she intoned. Curiosity now a sharp edge beneath the ice. "Not resist. Process," the human said, his breathing slightly labored, but his voice steady. "My species lacks a collective psychic field. Our minds are isolated. It makes your broadcast loud, easy to map as an external signal. A fascinating defense mechanism." Defense mechanism. The term was diminutive. It reduced a sacred tool of dominance to a biological quirk. A low hum of anger emanated from the throne. "You will be silent. Your analysis is irrelevant. You are a specimen." She rose, a fluid uncoiling of majestic height, and descended the dais. The crystal floor sang beneath her delicate, pointed feet. She stopped just outside the energy field, looking down at the kneeling human. He looked up, and in his plain, watercolored eyes, she saw no fear. Only a deep, unsettling attentiveness. "You will learn your place," she whispered psychically, the words carrying the weight of impending oblivion. She extended a hand, not to strike, but to demonstrate. Her fingertip, sharp and gleaming, aimed for his forehead. A single touch would inject a neuroparasitic primer, the first step in assimilation. It was a gesture of ultimate condescension, of biological inevitability. The human moved not. It was not an attack. It was an interception. His hand, calloused and warm, came up and simply caught hers. His fingers closed gently around her slender wrist. halting the progress of her pointed digit centimeters from his skin. The chamber froze. The psychic silence was absolute, more deafening than any scream. No one touched the queen. Ever. The very concept was an impossibility woven into the hegemonic psyche. Her warriors seized, their weapon arms rising with a chorus of lethal clicks. But they were paralyzed by the sheer unprecedented nature of the act. The queen's multifaceted eyes widened. The sensation was overwhelming. The dry, cool perfection of her chitin was enveloped by a warmth that was shocking in its vitality. She felt the steady, rapid pulse of his blood beneath the skin, a rhythm utterly alien to the slow, glacial flow of Valen's circulatory fluids. She felt the faint texture of scars, the resilience of bone and sinew. It was not the muted, respectful contact of a subject. It was a firm, equal pressure. A connection. A torrent of raw, unfiltered sensation flooded back through the contact into her own psychic field. Not thoughts, not words, but impressions. The stark, beautiful loneliness of an individual mind. The vibrant, chaotic tapestry of singular experience memory of a yellow sun's heat, the taste of salt air, the quiet sorrow of a farewell, the stubborn warmth of hope. It was a psychic scream of self, a declaration of individual existence, so potent it was blinding. She tried to pull back, to reassert the barrier of her divinity. But the human held firm, his grip unyielding yet not painful. His eyes held hers. "You see?" he said softly aloud, the sound crude and profound in the mental quiet. A boundary. The queen's breath hitched, a rare physical sign of distress. Her psychic voice, when it came, had lost its imperial resonance. It was faint, almost bewildered. "What are you?" "I am one," he said. "Just one. Billions of unique ones. You tried to show me my place. I am showing you yours. You are also one." The heresy of it should have vaporized him. Yet the truth in the sensory torrent was undeniable. The hegemony was a symphony played by a single vast mind, each citizen a perfect, controlled note. This human was a solitary, complete, and wildly different song. The extraterrestrial queen lifted her hand, her wrist still in his grasp. Her voice, now a hybrid of psychic and spoken word, trembled with a terrifying, thrilling new emotion. "Touch me again, human," she said. It was not a command. It was a plea, a demand for data from a universe she did not understand. He understood. He released her wrist. Then, slowly, he raised his own hand, palm open. An invitation. Hesitation held her for a moment that spanned epochs. Then, driven by a need greater than pride, greater than rule, she placed her palm against his dot. The floodgate opened out the quiet desperation of individual love, the crushing weight of personal guilt, the soaring joy of a solitary achievement, the complex, messy loyalty to a concept called friend, the stubborn, irrational fire of a spirit that would rather break than be bent. It was not assimilation. It was an overwhelming, equal exchange. She felt the terrifying responsibility of free will, the agonizing beauty of choice. In return, he felt the serene unity of the hegemony, the quiet peace of a purpose received, the profound lack of loneliness. They both shuddered, gripping each other's hands now as anchors in the storm that her warriors watched, weapons lowering in confusion. They saw their queen, their absolute center, trembling, her radiant carapace dimming and flaring as if stormlit. They saw the human, tears cutting clean lines through the dust on his face, not from pain, but from an overload of connection. When the contact broke, it was not a severance, but a careful, mutual release. The queen staggered back a single step, her guards instinctively moving to support her, but she waved them away with a sharp mental pulse. She stared at her hand, then at the human, who now stood calmly, waiting. The chamber was no longer a throne room. It was a bridge, and an abyss had opened between two shores. "Your penalty," the queen said, her psychic voice restored but forever altered, now carrying harmonics of the storm she had weathered, "is rescinded." The human nodded, as if he had expected this. "Thank you." "Do not thank me," she intoned, the old imperiousness trying to reassert itself over the new vulnerability. "You have not been spared. You have been catalogued as a sovereign state, one of billions." He gave a small, understanding smile. "Then I will report the same of you." She turned and ascended the dais, her movements still graceful, but now thoughtful, weighted. She did not sit on her throne. She stood before it. A ruler who had just discovered her realm was a single continent in an ocean of other, unimaginable lands. "You will depart," she stated. "You will tell your ones of this meeting. You will tell them the hegemony now recognizes a new boundary, the boundary of the individual soul. It is a frontier we do not understand. It is a frontier we will study." The human inclined his head. It was not a bow of submission. It was the nod of one diplomat to another at the close of a difficult, groundbreaking summit. The energy field dissipated. He turned and walked towards the arched doorway, the guards parting for him, their antennae quivering with uncertainty. At the threshold, he paused and looked back. The queen was watching him, her great eyes reflecting the amber light. And now, perhaps, the memory of a different sun. "The lichen patterns," he said. "They were truly beautiful." Then he was gone. The queen slowly lowered herself onto her throne. The living crystal felt different, cooler. She looked at her hand again, closing her fingers over the fading echo of a warmth that had burned with the chaos of freedom. The galaxy had just become infinitely larger, and her throne, for the first time in a millennium, felt like a seat for one.